Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Motilal Oswal Annual Investor Conference. And as always, it's time for D Street Chatter. And our D Street Chatter man has been very busy. Usually he's working the phones, but today he's meeting people and working the phones and picking up the vibes from the conference. So, Nimesh, overall, what's the pulse here that you picked up in general sense of, because look at the market. Market unfortunately sold out.
I spoke about a bit of sentiment from the conference yesterday as well. I'll tell you broadly from an FIR perspective, the good part is they are not negative on the market, especially when they are sitting outside and looking at India. They believe that second half could be quite strong and there are a lot of tailwinds which can help the markets to do well. I guess broad feedback seems to be that this is a time correction which is happening in the Indian market after good performance in the last few years. So nothing wrong into it. There were some reasons as well for us not to do well in the very short term, and that's playing out. But again, from a domestic perspective, because there's so much of money which is still getting poured into the mutual funds, they seem to be quite active. But again, the one interesting feedback that I picked up here, Surbi, was that the domestic mutual fund force has become so strong.
Oh, yeah.
They actually now dominate the price of IPOs, the price of QIPs and everything. So that's a big force to reckon with. So that's broadly the sentiment point of view. Coming to today's market, I guess we have sharply off the day's high. A couple of reasons for it. This is the first Nifty weekly expiry after the swap, right? Yeah. I mean, from Thursday to Tuesday. So that's having a bit of an impact. But also globally, there was some news which had a bit of impact on the Indian markets as well. I guess from a flow perspective, it's a mixed day of trade. Again, metals has done well today for some reason, and for that matter, there's a bit of selective buying in the financial names as well. Not everything in financial is doing good, but selective financial stocks have done well in today's market.
Yeah.
Again, the other sector or something which is well bid seems to be the consumer names. And I've been saying this for a while now that there is a bit of shift happening from capex to consumption that's playing out. Even in today's market, the flows are quite strong. And I guess GST will be a big trigger to watch out for. Yeah. The feedback here seems to be quite mixed because nobody knows as to what's going to come. But I guess a lot of people are hopeful. So if the government do what the street is anticipating, you might see a further rally. So that's the overall feedback from a sector perspective.
Absolutely. Even today, some large banks falling. That's been a bit of a bummer. Reliance has been, of course, helping counter some of that. But let's come to the juicy part, the stocks. What's on the chatter list?
Okay, so in terms of individual names, the first stock on my list is Aptus Housing. That's been consolidating in a narrow range of late, but I understand there could be a large block deal in Aptus very soon. The PE investor could be a potential seller there, so that's the first buzz. The second name is Edelweiss. I've been covering for a while now about the Edelweiss blocks as well. Recently, we saw a large block where Abacus bought. But I understand the stock has been buzzing also because the supply seems to be largely getting over. I understand there could be a clean-out trade from a domestic mutual fund in Edelweiss very soon. So that's the second name. The third stock is Saman Capital. That's been buzzing ever since the stock got added to the FNO in this series. And good volumes as well. Again, for Saman Capital, there is a long-awaited anticipation of a new person joining in. So that's a buzz there. But also, apart from that, the street is anticipating some corporate development as well in Saman Capital very soon. So that's the third name. And the last one is PNB Housing Finance. Again, for PNB, the stock has fallen sharply from the recent highs, but has been seeing a bit of accumulation now. The flows have picked up, is what I understand. Last week, there was massive selling from one of the long-only funds. That got cleaned out, and now some domestic funds are buying as well. And for PNB Housing, the very near-term trigger with the appointment of the new CEO. That can come in the days to come. So that's the trigger as far as PNB Housing is concerned.
Okay, all right, Nimesh, thanks very much for that. With that, let's quickly head back to Mitesh for some final